storm. The same way windows and doors are thrown open to deflect storms, which works mostly, but some furniture gets ruined, is the same thing that applies to the Earth's shield against geomagnetic storms. The shield is very effective in deflecting the majority of the storms, but sometimes energy manages to pass through the cracks and disrupt things like electricity and power systems, radio communication, and satellite transmission problems may arise. Thankfully, this 14-hour-long geomagnetic storm did not result in any power outages or radio blackouts. Despite this, scientists have also noted that the sun is moving into its most active phase in the solar cycle. We can, in the following months or years to come, experience the northern lights appearing more frequently. According to tech billionaire Elon Musk, the Hadron Particle Collider made its most recent discovery in 2017, or hadrons. In June 2018, work on the high-luminosity Large Hadron Collider, a Large Hadron Collider but with higher luminosity, was started. These were meant to increase the accelerator's luminosity and raise the machine's likelihood of observing some unusual processes that may otherwise be missed if it continues to be used as it has always been. The boost in the luminosity of the Hadron Particle Collider would also increase its ability to enhance statistically marginal measurement. The upgrade is expected to increase the machine's luminance to a significant degree. In a significant Hadron Collider program, the third run is known as the transitional stage. This is so, considering that the Large Hadron Collider is yet to complete its third run, and that it will subsequently prepare for a fourth run. Both the third and the fourth run is expected to make a significant contribution to particle physics. Like many other major scientific events, the LHC has discovered so many new particles, but the goal remains to discover newer elementary particles that could provide evidence that there are still some undiscovered interactions out there in the universe. Some of these new particles may likely be heavy and decay into various groups of quarks and leptons. On the other hand, the new particles may also display very high energy. However, scientists are not holding out hope, as the likelihood of finding new high-energy particles is quite slim. They do hope to discover them soon either way. These particles, when discovered, often prove to be of high value to the world. They can provide statistical backup and may even paint a clear picture of events that will stir up the world of science. Scientists have a clear opportunity to find more elusive particles, such as dark matter reactions, producing low-rate particles like neutrinos. What about the Large Hadron Collider most catches your fancy? Do you feel scientists would find dark matter soon and unveil
sustainable electricity production as well as consumption? So I'm quite confident that the primary means of power generation will be solar. I mean, it's really indirect fusion is what it is. We've got this giant fusion generator in the sky called the sun. And we just need to tap a little bit of that energy for purposes of human civilization. Most people know but don't realize they know is that the world is almost entirely solar-powered already. If the sun wasn't there, we'd be a frozen ice ball at 3 degrees Kelvin. And the sun powers the entire system of precipitation. The whole ecosystem is solar-powered.
But in a gallon of gasoline, you have effectively thousands of years of sun power compressed into a small space. So it's hard to make the numbers work right now on solar and to remotely compete with, for example, natural gas, fracked natural gas. How are you going to build a business here?
Well, I'm confident that solar will beat everything. And this is so therefore the key thing to do is to get the cost of that initial installation low, and then get the cost of the financing low. So because that interest, those are the two factors that drive the cost of solar, and we've made huge progress in that direction, and that's why I'm confident we'll actually beat natural gas.
So your current proposition to consumers is, don't pay so much up front. Pay zero up front. We will install panels on your roof.
Yes.
You will then pay. How long is a typical lease?
Typical leases are 20 years. But the value proposition is, as you're sort of alluding to, quite straightforward. It's no money down, and your utility bill decreases. So
right.
It's a pretty good deal.
So that seems like a win for the consumer. No risk. You will pay less than you're paying now. And for you, the dream here then is that, I mean, who owns the electricity from those panels for the longer term? I mean, how...
Just less than a utility bill.
But you yourself get a sort of long-term commercial benefit from that power. You're kind of building a new type of distributed utility.
Exactly. What it amounts to is a giant distributed utility. And I think it's a good thing because utilities have been this monopoly and people haven't had any choice. So effectively, it's the first time there's been competition for this monopoly because the utilities have been the only ones that own those power distribution lines, but now it's on your roof. So I think it's actually very empowering for homeowners and businesses.
And you really picture a future where a majority of power in America, like within a decade or two, or within your lifetime, is solar?
I'm extremely confident that solar will be at least a plurality of power, and most likely a majority. And I predict it will be a plurality in less than 20 years. I'd say we'll eventually run out of energy and die. I mean, or civilization will collapse. So obviously we must find ways to produce energy in a renewable manner. The question is just how hard we should try, what pace we should go at it. And I think logically we should go as fast as we can because since we know we have to get there eventually, it's better to get to a renewable future, a sustainable future sooner rather than later. Get there before we do the environmental damage, not after. And even if one could say that well, maybe there isn't that much environmental damage, to play the devil's advocate, maybe the environmental damage, maybe it won't be that bad. Why take the chance? Now, a lot of people would say, well, solar cannot really provide the energy that we need. A lot of people don't perhaps appreciate that solar energy is already the source of the vast majority of Earth's energy. Without solar power, we would be a frozen ice ball. So you just take like a corner of Arizona, and that would be all the energy that the United States needs. I think the important thing to bear in mind with batteries is there really is no material shortage. The Earth crust has essentially an infinite amount of metal as far as humanity is concerned. We have barely scratched the surface of the metal resource availability of the Earth's crust. And this is a very fundamentally different thing from mining coal or oil or because metal is recycled. So once you have enough metal to support a given size of industry, then it just keeps going in a recycling process. I mean, there may be a small amount that exits the recycling process, but it's quite a small amount. The amount of energy that hits the sun, that reaches us from the sun, is tremendous. It's 99% plus of all energy that Earth has. There are 100 miles by 100 miles of solar panels to power the entire United States. And then the batteries you need to store that energy to make sure you have 24/7 power is 1 mile by 1 mile. So one square mile. that's it. I showed the graph of or image of this where this is what 100 miles by 100 miles looks like. It's like a little square on the U.S. map. And then there's a little pixel inside there, and that's the size of the battery pack that you need to support that. Real tiny. I think, hopefully this Giga Berlin, this factory here, can serve as an inspiration to people in Germany and throughout Europe for excitement about the future. I mean, we got to be excited about the future. We got to do things that make us want to live. It cannot always be about problems every day. I mean, do you want to wake up? I think it's worth other states taking a close look at this and seeing if it's applicable to their needs, which I suspect in most cases it is. This is extremely important and fundamental. In a way, you can think of Earth like Earth is like a giant satellite. And the way that satellites are powered, including the big geostationary satellites, which we're quite familiar with, we just launched one actually at SpaceX. Those will last for 20 years with no maintenance in orbit. Literally no one can go to them, so they're designed to zero maintenance. And they're entirely powered by solar and battery. But there's no fundamental scaling limit. So just as you can power a big satellite purely with solar and a battery, you can power Earth purely with solar and a battery. Earth is a giant satellite. Because the writing's on the wall for the long-term future of coal, which is that coal does not have a long-term future. And so when one looks at the establishment of a new coal power plant or